So with Pokemania taking North America and basically the world by storm, it made financial sense for an onslaught of Pokemon releases.
I'll trade you this for a Gyarados.
That for Gyarados?
What a frickin' moron. I can't believe someone would do something like that. Why?
By June of 1999, Pokemon Red and Blue, the anime, and the trading cards were all immensely popular. Pokemon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back, was out in Japan and would get a theatrical North American release in late 1999. 1999 was Pokemon at its prime. But it should absolutely be noted just how much was already going on in Japan by this point. By June of 1999, Japan already had Pokemon Red, Green, Blue, and Yellow versions, Pokemon Trading Card Game, Hey You Pikachu, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium, and of course, Pokemon Pinball. So yeah, it was clear that North America was massively playing catch up at this point. Here I am on the second episode and you could already purchase 9 different physical game copies in Japan. Also, as a quick side note, it's not a Pokemon game, but I have to mention the crazy popular multiplayer phenomenon, Super Smash Bros., which was released for the Nintendo 64 in January of 1999. It was a major hit and became the 5th best-selling game on the system. The concept for Super Smash Bros. Seemed almost unheard of, as a bunch of Nintendo's major characters were together in one game to brawl against each other in family-friendly multiplayer fun, such as Mario, Link, Samus, and Fox. But its relevance for this Paraspective is, of course, the playable characters of Pikachu and Jigglypuff. My friends and I became addicted to this game when it came out, and we all had our specific characters we gravitated toward. The aforementioned Shane, the one who got me into Pokemon, was always Fox. James was always Kirby, George was Link, Jared was Yoshi, and I, of course, was always Pikachu. In fact, this picture that I've been showing in almost all of my videos that I jokingly use for showing me at any age of my life is actually us playing Super Smash Bros. In 1999. It's hard to see, but I guarantee I'm playing as Pikachu here. In the game, one of the items you can use are Pokeballs, which summons a Pokemon at random out of 13 options to assist you, or do nothing at all if you happen to get a Goldeen, for example. There is also the stage you can battle on of Saffron City, the city with Sabrina, the psychic gym leader. Super Smash Bros. Really doesn't count as part of the Pokemon series, but it has to be mentioned here to show just how fast Pokemon entered pop culture. Pokemon Red and Blue were only out for 3 months in North America at this point, if you can believe that, and there were already this many Pokemon integrated into the game. But I am here to move on to the Pokemon series proper. It's weird to me to think that the second release in North America was already a casual spin-off game, and it was released really not too far off from its Japan release too. But on June 28, 1999, North America got the release of Pokémon Pinball for the Game Boy Color, the predecessor to the Game Boy that came out just a half a year earlier. The Game Boy Color is just how it sounds. It's an improved handheld system that plays Game Boy games, but in color. It also has a much sleeker design, giving it a real 90s look with the bright colored or see-through variations. The Game Boy Color was an all-around improvement with much more memory, better graphics, lighter in weight, an infrared scanner, and of course, actual color. But like the Game Boy, it still was not backlit, so you once again had to find just the right lighting and angle to see the dark screen. It would be some time until that luxury comes along. Pokémon Pinball was developed by Jupiter Corporation, a company known for many handheld Picross games, and HAL Laboratory, a company known for developing lots of Kirby games, even more Pokemon ones, and as I just mentioned, Super Smash Bros. And as you may have guessed from, the title alone, it's just a pinball game, but with a Pokemon twist. So let's channel our inner Elton John and become the pinball wizard once and for all and check out the box for Pokemon Pinball, trying to transport ourselves back to 1999. We are only familiar with Pokemon Red and Blue, the cards, and the anime, and are aware of all 151 Pokemon. The front cover is a lot more busy than the simplistic Red and Blue with just Charizard and Blastoise pictured. This time, the background is a yellow pinball table with a bunch of Pokemon randomly sprinkled about. Going clockwise, we have a smiling Ditto in the top left, a Voltorb that looks like it's part of the pinball game itself, the top of a Bellsprout hiding, a Dugtrio who is apparently just hit by a Pokeball, a Meowth who looks like it was also just hit by a Pokeball to show random violence against cats and moles, another Bellsprout spitting a Pokeball out of its mouth, and of course, a giant portrait of a Pikachu as part of the logo, complete with the cute pinball paddles on the L's in the name. Aww. There is a lot to look at for such a small box, but it isn't too overwhelming. And in the top right corner it says includes Rumble feature. Yeah, this cartridge is actually built with its own rumble pack, a bit of gaming technology that causes the system or controller to vibrate when something of excitement happens. I first experienced this with the rumble pack for the Nintendo 64 on Star Fox 64. But this cartridge is unique in its design for that reason, as it's much longer than the standard Game Boy or Game Boy Color game. The back of the box states, "Catch 'em all with a pinball. Discover a whole new way to collect Pokemon by playing pinball. Pinball, it's pinball! Hit the targets with your Pokeball to catch and evolve Pokemon." Yeah, I mean, it sounds interesting. The better you do, the more Pokemon you'll find. Every Pokemon you catch is automatically recorded in your Pokédex. See if you can catch all 150. So either Mew isn't in the game, or they're trying to keep it a secret, as it is number 151. Some Pokemon appear only on the red field. Hey, I love Clear Red Field. Or only on the blue field. Oh. So you'll have to play them both to catch them all. Very interesting. They found a way to implement the red and blue versions into this game even. The new Rumble feature makes you feel like you're playing a real pinball machine. I guess pinball machines rumble? If you hit the buttons hard enough? I'm not a big pinball guy, so I don't know. Trade high scores with a friend using the built-in infrared communications port on Game Boy Color only. Can't you just tell each other the high scores? Why do you need infrared for that? Print out your high scores with a Game Boy printer, sold separately. Again, can't you just write your scores down if you really wanted to? The Game Boy printer was always a weird thing to me. I've never used it personally, but it was actually compatible with a lot of games and printed things down on thermal paper. And this was one of those games. Find the bonus stages to rack up a high score. Upgrade your Pokeball to a Great Ball, Ultra Ball, or Master Ball to score even higher. Different pinballs, I assume. Game pack contains built-in rumble feature, 1 AAA battery included. Yeah, it already mentioned that. Why not say it's built in up there when it mentions it in the rumble feature? It's like they realized they didn't have enough to say since the game is just pinball and they had to throw something else on to cover up the blank space. But I'm not knocking the game yet for that reason. I really think making a pinball table Pokemon themed is a really good and pretty obvious idea. The pinball is designed to roll around and hit things, so turning that into a Pokeball seems fitting. If I found a Pokemon pinball table at a bar or arcade, you better believe I'd be slapping a few quarters in, and I really don't care about pinball much at all. As far as the pictures go, we get a little Psyduck and 2 game images. The first one says, "Gameplay on the Game Boy Color video game system. Displays up to 56 colors." And we see a Meowth in the center of the table, a Pikachu in the bottom left corner, and a Psyduck peeking out on the right. The other picture says, "Gameplay on the Game Boy and Game Boy Pocket systems with the classic monochrome color scheme with a Pidgeot in the middle and Diglett and Dugtrio on the sides." And I didn't mention Game Boy Pocket, but it was a smaller Game Boy that was lighter and required fewer batteries that came out in between Game Boy and Game Boy Color. But these pictures show that the game works the same on all 3 Game Boys, so that's cool. The early days of backwards compatibility. So that's about it. Again, it sounds like a really cool concept, to be honest. It doesn't sound nearly as in-depth as the red and blue versions, but it isn't meant to be. It's a spin-off game that's only trying to be a fun time waster to appeal to pinball fans. Let's check it out. First of all, as I said, I'm simply not a pinball guy. I'm not very good at it, and I find it to be more frustrating than fun most of the time. But the game starts with the options of Game Start, Pokédex, or Option. We're starting with no Pokemon caught, so Game Start is really the only option. Then you choose between Red Table or Blue Table. These tables are shaped differently, have different ways of catching Pokemon, and have different areas and Pokemon available. The Blue Table has Poliwag, Psyduck, Shelter, Cloyster, and Slowpoke as part of the table, which help you accomplish different things. Both tables have Pikachu that can appear on the left and right side as ball savers. You first have to stop a roulette at random to determine which area you start, which results in which kind of Pokemon you'll find during the playthrough. I first started in Viridian Forest, and now you essentially, play pinball. The main buttons you'll need are the left arrow on the D-pad for the left flipper and A for the right flipper to give the illusion that you're operating a pinball table. Down tilts the table to the right and B tilts to the left. Once you know what you're trying to hit, the gameplay lays itself out more. In order to find your first Pokemon on the blue table, you must send the ball around the loop to light up Catch-em arrows. Once you do this enough times, shoot the ball into Cloyster in the middle, and then you'll see a random silhouette appear in the middle. Hit the ball to the 3 shelter at the top of the table, and each hit reveals a piece of the picture to see which Pokemon you're about to catch. Once it appears, hit that Pokemon 3 times to reveal the word catch, and then the Pokemon once more to actually catch it. Bam! It gets added to your Pokedex. As you can see, my first Pokemon here was a Pikachu, an uncommon find in Viridian Forest. Your goal for the remainder of the game is to do this for every single basic Pokemon, so it's playing a ton of pinball in order to complete the game. But just like in the red and blue versions, catching them all is optional. I mean, it's pinball. Play it as much as you want until the novelty wears off. But catching all 151 is the ultimate goal. Aside from catching basic Pokemon, you can also change locations by hitting Poliwag and Psyduck enough times, and you can evolve Pokemon you have caught. In one of my games, I played on the Mount Moon stage, and my first catch was actually a Paras. I didn't even plan or arrange for this to happen. And the first Pokemon I evolved here was Paras into my Shroom Boy. What a weird string of luck there. I wanted to do what I could to get Parasect to show it in my Parasect segment, and it happened without me really trying. Basically, you do similar actions to catching Pokemon. Hit the ball to the far left loop enough times until the arrow in the middle points to Slowpoke. Shoot the ball into Slowpoke and you're given the list of Pokemon you can evolve. The picture of that Pokemon appears in the middle, and now you have 2 minutes to have your ball pass through items that appear around the board after passing through arrows. In the case of Paras here, it evolves through experience, so I have 2 minutes to collect 3 experience symbols and finally get the ball in a hole that appears to evolve it. Yeah, there are those solid lifeless eyes that I'm all too familiar with. The red table is the alternate table that has different areas and Pokemon that can appear. Replacing the shelter bumpers are Voltorb, Slowpoke is replaced by Ditto in the top left corner, Bellsprout replaces Cloyster, and 2 Diglett replace Poliwag and Psyduck, and there's a little Staryu bonus. They all kinda do the same things with some slight differences in board layouts. There are also some bonus stages for points, like this one where you have to hit poor Meowth on repeat, who is frantically trying to find an escape. And, well, that's basically the entire game. I typically try and discuss only the first 2 levels of these games to avoid spoilers, but that's not really the case here. It's pinball. If you like pinball and Pokemon, I don't really see you not enjoying this game. It's not perfect, and the flippers can act a little wonky at times, but that's more due to the Game Boy Color's limitations. Combining Pokemon and pinball is a really fitting idea though, and you can end up sinking a ton of time into this if you really want to complete the Pokédex. I honestly don't really have many memories of this game. As I stated in part 1, my friend Shane was the one who let me borrow his blue version to play, so I didn't even own any Pokemon game at the time. I did have my share of cards though, and I had one acquaintance at school in 8th grade, Dana, who I would trade cards with on occasion. There were a handful of times that Dana, my other friend James, and I would walk to this church parking lot near my house after school to trade cards. I honestly can't remember how, but I do have a very vague memory of playing Pokemon Pinball at this church parking lot. I don't remember if it was Dana's game or James's or somebody rented it or what. I didn't play it very long and I really didn't have much of a desire to be honest. I was much more interested in the cards. So this game kind of escaped my mindset. I've never owned it myself, but the copy I have at my house is actually my girlfriend's, as this was her copy when she was younger. So this was really my first time really delving into the game itself. Oh yes, everybody's favorite segment of Where's That Pokemon? I mean, I already showed me catching Parasect in the gameplay footage, but that really wasn't planned. Parasect is only found in this game by evolving a caught Paras, and it's just for a Pokédex entry. You don't really do anything with it. Oh, alright. Paras is found on the blue table in Mount Moon and on the red table in the Safari Zone, so it at least follows the main game locations well enough. I got to Mount Moon on my second game and found Paras right away, so it's not rare or anything. Long live the Shroom Boy. Pokemon Pinball was actually quite well received. It tends to get around solid B grades from critics and is known for being one of the better pinball games. I also own Metroid Prime Pinball, and between the two, I think Pokemon Pinball is the better of the two based on the gimmick alone. Metroid Prime Pinball looks and plays much better though, as it's on the Nintendo DS, but I think Pokemon Pinball has much more replayability. Just my opinion though. But Pokemon Pinball ended up being the 3rd best-selling Game Boy Color game of all time, if you can believe that. It's just a simple concept, but it really works for the handheld style if you're a pinball fan. It sold 5.3 million copies, which is an enormous step down from Red, Blue, and Green's combined 31.3 million, but like I said, it wasn't trying to be anything more. Those are mainline games, and this is Pokemon Pinball. A turn your brain off and play some pinball game that was still a big success. So that about covers it for part 2. North America was now 2 handheld games in for the franchise, but now it's time to go full on home 3D gen graphics. Boom! Colors and polygons and vibrant sound everywhere. That's right, it's time to soar into the future, to literally 2 days later. Pokémon Pinball came out on June 28th, 1999, and our next game, Pokémon Snap, came out on June 30th, 1999. So join me next time as we check out part 3 of the Paraspective with Pokémon Snap. Paraspectre will return. Oh, hey, you're still here. I wanted to do a mini bonus segment here to sort of, point out my mistakes. I think it's important to exercise humility once in a while, and boy do I need to. So throughout each part, I know that I'm going to get some things wrong. It's just human error. I wasn't there for the development of these games, but sometimes I just flat out got something wrong. So I think it would be fun here to show exactly what I got wrong based on the comments I received. Some were just stupid things I missed or said wrong, and some I truly didn't know about. Also, it's very possible that your corrections could be wrong, but I'll bring them up anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm and such. But I do want these videos to be accurate, so let's clear the air here. Apparently, Pikachu's rarity was intentional to have it be more of a surprise. Probably the biggest mistake I made was saying that Nidoran gets Double Kick at level 12 to help defeat Brock. Nidoran does learn it at level 12 in the yellow version, but not until 43 in red and blue. I failed to mention that my Shroom Boys are weak to poison in Generation 1 as well. That just makes it even more of an underdog though. The name Pokemon certainly was a thing in Japan, and I think I made it seem like it was North American only. Pocket Monsters essentially evolved into Pokemon. But the absolute worst thing I got wrong was not naming my rival Matthew. What on earth was I possibly thinking? So there are the main ones. I don't want this to turn into a thing where people are trying to point out every little thing I get wrong, but at the same time, I will admit if I got something wrong, and I'd like to know about it. But ultimately, we're just here having some fun with reminiscing and maybe learning a thing or two together. Until next time, be sure to subscribe to my channel, I guess.